Actually have a community organizing meeting in 7 minutes, but I want to take a second here and respond to the article that came out in Wired magazine titled "A Dark Money Group is Secretly Funding High-Profile Democratic Influencers." First off, thank you to Miranda and Hawk for bringing my attention to this article. I know y'all already follow Hawk, but if you don't follow Miranda yet, you should. Her content is really important. So Wired magazine has put out an article saying that a dark money group is paying Democratic influencers up to $8,000 a month to push their party line issues. That they have to talk about the issues the Democrats want them to talk about, not talk about the issues that they don't want them to talk about. And then also they have to keep it secret that they are being funded by this dark money. I knew that this shit was happening. A couple of my mutuals are influencers who very clearly disclose the pro-democracy groups that fund them. I knew there were folks out there who were taking money, both from Republicans and from Democrats, who were not willing to disclose it. I don't know if you're not an influencer, like if you make sponsored content, if you have branded content, if somebody is paying you to promote their product, by law, you must disclose it. But apparently, if you are being paid to promote political ideology, talking points, a political party or candidate, you don't have to do that. Everybody should go watch Miranda's whole video. I don't have time to get into the full list of creators mentioned in this article, but you should go hear what she has to say about it. A number of those creators are my mutuals. Now, I've made it clear from day one, I don't take money from anybody. I don't have any sponsored content. I get emails on a daily basis asking me to sponsor products or online courses or what have you for all kinds of companies. But as an anti-capitalist, like I'm not interested in taking money to promote products. I have in the past, and I will continue to talk up things that I think are useful to me personally, authors whose books I enjoy. I'm not paid for any of that. And I have never, and I would never take money from any organization, any business, any political party with the requirement that I keep their funding secret. I completely agree with Hawk. Like, yeah, if you're a Democratic influencer and you want to take money from folks, that's your choice. But then fucking disclose it. If you want to have any integrity and authenticity whatsoever, you need to tell people who is funding you to make these talking points, to present these positions and ideas. If you're bought and paid for, you need to disclose it. The fact that people are getting paid $8,000 a month and they're not telling anybody that is shaping their content. And Miranda is absolutely right. Those folks are getting pushed in the algorithm. You are seeing more and more of their content. They are being promoted and platformed and funded in a way that suppresses content from independent creators such as myself, Hawk, Miranda. It absolutely creates a power imbalance. But more than that, y'all, the thing that I was talking about this with my daughter just a minute ago, the thing that is so upsetting to me is not just the lack of transparency, the lack of integrity, the lack of a willingness to say I'm being funded to the tune of $90,000 a year to talk about certain issues. It's also toe the Democratic Party line and don't talk about certain issues. You could never pay me to keep my mouth shut about the genocide in Gaza. You could never pay me to keep my mouth shut about any human rights issue, any environmental issue, any social justice issue that I feel compelled to speak about. Okay, I'm sorry, I actually had to dip to go to my meeting, but I'm back now to finish this video. Okay, and then I have to dash off to another meeting in just a few minutes, but I wanted to finish up here real quick. I understand that people making social media content fall into different categories. Some of us are activists. Some are doing it because it's a passion project and it just happened to turn into a way to make a living. Some of us don't make a living on social media. Some people go into it with the intention of like, this is my career. This is a business and I will run it like a business. And I understand that it can be very tempting to form parasocial relationships with people. And even for those of us that are creators, like, right, a lot of us have chats with other creators. We are in groups with other creators, as was very clearly demonstrated in this Wired article. But I think it's good to constantly remember that we aren't all here with the same outlook, the same intention, the same goals, even though we may have political or ideological alignment on some issues. I know that I am terribly idealistic and I'm very bad at running my social media like a business. Largely because I'm here as an activist. I'm here as somebody who wants to promote my values of earth care, people care, and fair share. I want to focus on people over profit, community over corporations. So that sets me at odds with running a business in a capitalistic society. Other people don't have those same compunctions. And so I know a lot of folks will take brand deals. I have been chastised by friends and people who are accountants who have told me, like, you are missing all kinds of revenue streams. Why don't you take that brand deal? Why don't you go ahead and work with those folks, right? You are missing out on all kinds of income. That's not my priority. It never has been my priority. Am I blessed now, since, the beginning of this year, a rapidly expanding social media platform to say, like, actually, I can pay my bills now making the kind of content that I make? Absolutely. Am I in a position now where I'm looking at hiring a part-time employee to help me and realize, like, I have to treat this like a real business? Yes. Does that allow me to be able to have income to donate to the causes that I care about? I know I said this in another video recently, but all of the income that I make on TikTok, for the most part, goes to charitable organizations. I make enough of an income off of my YouTube now that what little I do make off of TikTok, I can just donate all of it. That is a position of tremendous privilege. If you'd asked me a year ago or 2 years ago, it would have been a really different story for me because I make very much on social media. And now I'm in a position where, like, holy shit, I can fund a number of causes that I really care about. I view any additional revenue streams or any additional income that I make as a chance to just fund Doctors Without Borders, the ACLU, my local Indivisible chapter, GoFundMes for people who need help and support. I'm now in a position when local charities, local food banks ask for support, like, I have something to give them. And that's because of the expansion of my social media platform. So in that way, I still view the content that I make as being an extension of my activism. It allows me to help support the causes that I care so much about. I'm not saying, like, it's huge amounts. It's not huge amounts of money, y'all. But the fact that I even have that discretionary income now is because people support my channel and watch my content. But even so, like, there's lines I won't cross. I would not take $8,000 a month. There's no amount of money that you could throw at me to talk about your political positions and promote them if they were not mine. And especially if you are telling me that I have to hide where that money is coming from. Having authenticity, integrity, transparency is paramount for me. It is of utmost importance, and I will not compromise in those areas. Again, I understand why other creators who don't consider themselves activists, who are not as idealistic as I am, would take sponsorships, would take funding. I understand people have to make a living. I don't think that everybody should be making content on social media for free out of the goodness of their own heart with no compensation for their labor, their time, their skills, and the content that they are creating. I think social media creation is a real job. I think being on YouTube or TikTok and sharing your expertise, your opinion, your analysis, that's a real job. I get people in my comments all the time, especially on YouTube, who are like, go get a real job. I'm like, well, this job pays me real money. YouTube pays me real money. So to me, it's a real job. But just for those folks who are willing to take that kind of money, please, I'm begging you, have transparency, show that you have integrity, and tell us where the funding is coming from. If you're being paid to promote an idea or a position, you should tell people that. And if you are being paid to not talk about issues that you otherwise would discuss, maybe reconsider what you're doing. Maybe reconsider whether you are actually living within your values. So that's my 2 cents. That's my position. I got to head out to another meeting. I'm actually 4 minutes late to that meeting. But thanks for giving me a chance to talk about this. And thank you, Miranda, for opening up the conversation and drawing my attention to the article.